Joining us now to discuss markets in a bit more detail is GSR Markets Global Head of Product, Benoit Bosc. Welcome, Benoit. How's it going?
Hi, very good to see you. Very good. Thanks again for having me on the show.
Of course, we're glad you're here. So, answer quickly. Why is Bitcoin going up?
Well, it's been interesting to see the resilience of crypto markets in general, but Bitcoin in particular. And we are back at a dominance level that we haven't seen since June of last year. Funny enough, there was already a flight to safety following the Terra Luna events. And I think that's what we're seeing here. You know, the crypto ecosystem is under attack. You're seeing all of those regulatory, regulation by enforcement attempts, I would say, by the SEC, but also the banking crisis that has spread to banks that serve the crypto community. And as a result, you have this flight to quality, a flight to the majors. Bitcoin has benefited the most, and it's rallied significantly ever since those events have started. And certainly it has been the case once again with the action of the Fed yesterday and FOMC in their refusal to really consider any cuts, but even refusal to pause in their cycle of hikes.
Yeah, so you mentioned resiliency of Bitcoin amid all of this, and the Fed, right? Do Bitcoin investors actually care about what the Fed is signaling? If you're saying that the Fed is not committing to cutting rates, then do the investors care about what the Fed is signaling? We saw the price go down and go up. What do you think?
Well, if they had cut, or if they had really paused and just do zero, which some people expected, that would have been a sign that we go back to a more inflationary regime, which would have been clearly beneficial to Bitcoin prices. So I think that's the first reaction in the sell-off, especially the comments of Yellen and Powell after the rate cuts, where they kind of like establishing that they really want to fight inflation and that they are pretty committed. So I think the first reaction is one that's correlated to all risk assets. It's a little leg down. But then after that, you do become, you do have that store of value, that kind of like gold, digital gold feature of Bitcoin, which is that, you still have inflation. They're fighting it, but it still exists. Bitcoin has a limited supply, as we all know, and so that's a better alternative. You also, have less on and off ramps, and you had issues with stablecoins. So Bitcoin suddenly seems more stable and safe than those at the moment. And like I said, we're seeing almost 45% dominance. We last saw that in June 22 because of Terra Luna and the flight to quality. And we saw that before was, I think, beginning of 2021 at the rise of Ethereum and DeFi. So we are at level where it's telling you that people are looking to Bitcoin for safety.
Yeah, you've mentioned this flight to safety and stable coins and Bitcoin dominance, and these sound like very much crypto native metrics. Is this flight to safety exogenous investors coming into Bitcoin, or are these crypto natives who are scared that their stable coin is no longer stable and they're just piling into Bitcoin?
I think you have a little bit of both, but mostly I would say at this stage, it's mostly crypto native because all of those events have unfolded very, very rapidly. And I'm mostly talking about the crisis of the banking sector, which is not a crypto specific crisis. It's really something that's happening much more in traditional finance. And you've had SVB, that's absolutely not a crypto bank. It's percolated to crypto and kind of like took off some of the rails that I was mentioning. But right now, it's just in the last couple of weeks, I think we'll see even more people look to Bitcoin as a potential asset that they should put money in.
Yeah. So, Benoit, what does this mean for Bitcoin's narrative? Is it a risk-off inflation hedge? Is it a risk-on tech thing? Is it risk everything? Is it the best asset we've ever created? What's going on?
I think it's not a risk-on rally because of that flight to majors kind of like feature. But what I would say is, the kind of actions that we've seen, and just this week was Sushi was served subpoena. We had the FOMC. We have Justin Sun being charged by the SEC. You have the actions against Coinbase. You have just this morning, Do Kwon, and you're seeing this market just shrug it off and continue to raise and stabilize at level that seemed very elevated just a couple of months ago. No one thought we would be there. Those events a couple of years ago would have decimated the market. And I think it's very interesting to see, again, how strong the market is, how resilient it's been. I don't see it as a risk-on rally, but it does give me a lot of confidence in this ecosystem, this community, and the chance for adoption a lot faster than people anticipated, especially as I think the SEC is picking on Coinbase a pretty worthy adversary and a pretty good representative for the crypto industry. I think will benefit overall as a community from the resolution of those kind of regulatory issues.
Awesome. Benoit, that's all that time we have today. So we're going to send you on your way. Thank you very much for joining us. That was GSR Markets Global Head of Product, Benoit Bosc.